after she done tied you up, whipped you, put a plug in you or whatever what it was that got you going, which is to each his own, and I didn't mean to plug, that's not okay.
Only one yucking is Shay Shay. The street's eyes is wide open, man. I'm telling you, you ain't fooling nobody, Shay Shay. I bet you wouldn't answer this question. Have you ever had a man? You know what he gonna say? What do you call Shannon Sharpe, you have not said, I am not a gay man. Shannon, if you are a man who messes with men, I still love you, brother. I can't drag you to the stove.
Oh, stop.
But
that nigga Shannon Sharpe called me trying to do an interview. I said, no, Medea, I ain't doing no interviews, yo. So you can sit across from me and look at my balls. I'll sit down. Thought he was going to attack Cat. That nigga there. It is called Shay Shay. Telling you. Put a wig on that nigga and tell me if that ain't motherfucking Medea's sister.
What if everything you thought you knew about Shannon Sharpe was just a front? Behind the $1 million smile, viral podcast clips, and that clean-cut image, there's a storm brewing. Because in 2025, the internet didn't just turn on Shannon, it stripped him bare. A leaked audio tape, a woman with receipts, a fired stylist, and a string of comedians calling him out on stage. At first, people thought it was just jokes, trolling for clicks. But now, fans are starting to ask the one question that could change everything. Is Shannon hiding something he never wanted the world to know? It started with a sound, not a video, not a tweet, just a voice. One day, out of nowhere, a clip surfaced online. Allegedly of Shannon Sharpe and his ex-stylist Hollywood in a moment that no one was supposed to hear. What was said in that audio? People say you could hear everything. Breathing, moaning, names being whispered. It wasn't a podcast. It was intimate, raw, and instantly viral. And while some folks swore it was fake, an AI-generated deepfake cooked up by trolls, others weren't so sure. Because the voice, the tone, the timing, it all felt too real. Suddenly, Shannon's name was trending for all the wrong reasons. Memes exploded, Twitter detectives went digging, and questions came flooding in faster than he could answer them. Was this the moment the rumors finally got receipts? Or was it just a new chapter in the internet's obsession with tearing people down? But that wasn't the whole story, because this wasn't the first time Shannon had been caught off guard by his own actions. Long before the leaked audio ever hit the internet, Shannon had already raised some serious eyebrows, and it happened live. Literally. He went on Instagram Live in the middle of what sounded like a full-on bedroom session. No video, just audio. Heavy breathing, moaning, and his voice calling out the name Michelle. The internet lost its mind. People were like, who accidentally goes live like that? Was it really a mistake? Or was Shannon trying to prove something? Because here's where it gets wild. Michelle, the woman in the audio, later came forward and said the quiet part out loud. According to her, it wasn't an accident at all. She claims Shannon wanted people to hear it, that he staged the moment to shut down the long-running rumors about him being DL, living a double life behind closed doors. But if that was the plan, it backfired hard. Instead of killing the gossip, it opened the floodgates. People weren't buying it. In fact, they started digging even deeper, and what they found would make the story even messier. And Michelle wasn't done talking, not even close. What she said next made the internet do a double take. Michelle didn't just speak out, she unloaded. And what she revealed about Shannon had people clutching their phones like it was a crime scene. She claimed their relationship was far from traditional. Not only did Shannon allegedly avoid sleeping with her in a normal way, she says he had a very different kind of preference. According to Michelle, he was obsessed with backdoor play. Toys, plugs, tongue, fingers. And here's the wildest part. She swears that when she first got with him, it already looked like someone else had been there. Her exact words, it was already stretched out before I even touched it. Social media exploded. Was she lying? Was she bitter? Or was she finally pulling the curtain back on what Shannon's been hiding all along? Some fans called her a clout chaser. Others said she was just confirming what they always suspected. But one thing was clear. Her story had details. Too many to just brush off. And if you thought that was bad, Michelle wasn't the only woman to come forward, because Shannon's past was about to come knocking, and it wasn't done with him yet. Next came Gabriella, younger, louder, and ready to blow the lid off a whole different side of Shannon Sharpe. Enter Gabriella, Shannon's ex-girlfriend, 20 years old, and with receipts of her own. She didn't hold back either. According to her, Shannon wasn't just into kink. He was deep into BDSM. She described nights that were more like power struggles than passion. She claimed he would tie her up, spank her, even leave marks. And not always with consent. One allegation even suggested he sat on her face until she passed out. People didn't know whether to laugh, gasp, or cancel him. What made Gabriella's claims different from Michelle's was her tone. She wasn't whispering secrets. She was exposing them. Screenshots, DMs, Photos. She painted a picture of a man obsessed with domination, secrecy, and control. And more importantly, she hinted that a lot of his behavior wasn't just kinky, it was calculated. Her story made one thing clear. This wasn't an isolated incident. Shannon had a pattern, and that pattern didn't fit the image fans were used to seeing on TV. But just when it looked like Shannon might speak out, he made a quiet move that said even more than words ever could. While the internet was still buzzing, Shannon made a move that slipped under most people's radar, but not for long. He fired Hollywood. The same Hollywood who wasn't just his stylist, but his constant companion. Red carpets, flights, VIP events. Hollywood was there for it all. People had already been speculating. Is that really just his stylist, or is there something else going on? And then poof, Hollywood was gone. No explanation, no post, no goodbye. That's when fans really started talking. Because if nothing was going on, why cut him off so suddenly? Why not clear the air? Instead, Shannon went silent, and that silence said everything. People started digging up old photos, watching Club Shay Shay clips in slow motion, analyzing body language. Some called it paranoia, others called it proof. But one thing was certain, Shannon's carefully built image was starting to crack, and the firing didn't calm things down, it only made them worse. Because in the world of celebrities, silence looks a lot like guilt. And when Shannon finally broke that silence, it wasn't to clear things up, it was to start a whole new fire. Just when things couldn't get any messier, Shannon brought the heat right onto his own turf. His podcast, Club Shay Shay, had been known for viral interviews. But one episode changed everything. He sat down with Cat Williams, and Cat didn't hold back. The episode blew up instantly. Cat roasted comedians left and right, dragged names through the mud, and stirred up long-buried beefs. But instead of the focus staying on Cat, it bounced right back to Shannon. Why? Because suddenly, it wasn't just about the guest, it was about the host. Comedians who felt targeted by Cat's comments came after both of them, and they didn't hold back. D.L. Hewley threw the first punch, saying Shannon was trying to be the new Wendy Williams, only with muscles and a microphone. Then Corey Holcomb chimed in, mocking Shannon's podcast persona and calling out his nickname Shay Shay, saying no straight man would call himself that unless he had a little sugar in the tank. It was no longer about rumors, it was a full-blown public roast. Shannon wasn't just being talked about, he was being targeted. And when the jokes kept coming, Shannon didn't laugh. He snapped. What came next? Straight up war. If D.L. Hewley and Corey Holcomb were jabs, what came next was a knockout punch. Mike Epps, comedian, actor, and chaos enthusiast, hit the stage and turned Shannon Sharpe into the butt of an entire stand-up set. He didn't just throw shade, he turned on the spotlight. Mike called Shannon Medea's twin sister, mocked his style, his nickname, and even claimed Shannon was begging him for a Club Shay Shay interview. But the punchline? Mike said he refused because he didn't want Shannon looking between his legs while they sat across from each other. The crowd roared, and so did the internet. Memes, clips, rewinds, everyone was eating it up. And if that wasn't enough, Eddie Griffin jumped in too. He clowned Shannon's tight outfits, his mannerisms, even the way he drank during interviews, saying, "No straight man sips like that." This wasn't trolling anymore. This was personal. It felt like every comedian who had ever had an issue with Shannon was suddenly linking arms and dragging him down the same road. And for someone who built a career on being composed, calm, and charismatic, Shannon finally hit his breaking point. Because when he fired back, it wasn't with jokes, it was with threats and receipts. Shannon had been silent long enough, and when he clapped back, it wasn't with laughter, it was with fire. He went straight for Mike Epps, calling him out publicly and threatening to drop the receipts. "Say my name again," he warned, "and I'll release the DMs, because you're lying." According to Shannon, he didn't beg Mike for an interview. It was the other way around. He even hinted that when they crossed paths in person, there'd be a reckoning. "Say my name like Destiny's Child, and I got something for you." The message was loud and clear. Shannon was done playing nice. But he wasn't just responding to Mike. He addressed the whole wave of DL accusations, saying these comedians were just recycling the same tired jokes because they had nothing else left. "They're not being funny anymore," he said. "They're being lazy." Some fans backed him, others said he was cracking under pressure. But one thing was obvious, Shannon wasn't brushing anything off now. He was calling names, correcting narratives, and fighting to protect his reputation. And then for the first time, he finally explained why he really let Hollywood go. But his version of the story, it only raised more questions than it answered. After months of silence and internet speculation, Shannon finally broke down the real reason he fired Hollywood. Or at least what he says was the real reason. According to him, it had nothing to do with rumors. He claimed it was all about loyalty. He told fans that his longtime stylist, Shelley, felt betrayed after he started working with Hollywood. She had been with him for over 20 years, dressing him for TV, red carpets, media appearances. And when he brought in someone new, she was crushed. So, in a move he called Making Things Right, he let Hollywood go and reconnected with Shelley. Sounds noble, right? Except people weren't buying it. Because here's what didn't add up. If loyalty to Shelley was so important, why hire Hollywood in the first place? Why bring him everywhere? On flights, events, interviews, if it was just about the clothes? And why wait until the rumors exploded before making the switch? Even Shannon's explanation raised eyebrows. He claimed he didn't buy anything new when Hollywood styled him, that the jackets and outfits were all from Shelley's original picks, just rearranged, so Hollywood didn't really style him at all. It felt like damage control, like trying to rewrite a chapter that had already gone public. But just as fans were trying to make sense of it, something else hit the timeline. And this time, it was a voice from the past with brand new receipts. Because Michelle was back, and she brought a whole new level of detail with her. Just when Shannon thought the storm might settle, Michelle came back. And this time, she wasn't just talking. She was unloading everything. In a full sit-down interview, she confirmed what many already suspected. That infamous IG Live? Yeah, it wasn't a mistake. According to Michelle, Shannon planned it. She said he knew exactly what he was doing, making sure the camera was off, letting the audio run just long enough, and repeating her name for effect. It was all about optics. No video, no nudity, just sounds. Enough to kill the rumors, but not enough to cancel him. But that wasn't all. Michelle doubled down on everything she'd said before, and added more. She described again Shannon's obsession with backdoor play and claimed he had preferences most women she knew wouldn't even entertain. What shocked viewers was her claim that she didn't introduce him to that world. He was already deep into it before she arrived. Her exact words? "I didn't open him up to anything new. He came like that." The interview set the internet on fire. Clips went viral, comment sections exploded, people debated whether she was being honest or just messy. But regardless of which side you were on, one thing was clear. Shannon's private life wasn't private anymore. And whether it was true or not, perception was becoming reality. Then came the final twist. A leaked clip that could either destroy everything or prove it was all a lie. Just when you thought the headlines couldn't get any crazier, another bomb dropped. A new audio clip, allegedly featuring Shannon and Hollywood, allegedly in the middle of something intimate. And yes, people heard it, all of it. But this time, the question wasn't just, is this real? It was, is this even human? Because right now, we live in the age of AI, voice clones, deepfakes, digital illusions that sound exactly like the real thing. Some fans were convinced, that's him, that's definitely him. Others weren't so sure. This is AI, 100%. It's a setup. The debate got louder than the audio itself. But here's the thing. Whether real or fake, the damage was already done. Every new leak, every new clip only kept the story alive. And for Shannon, a man whose career thrives on credibility, public image, and clean branding, this wasn't just drama, it was destruction. One user online summed it up best. Nobody accidentally goes live having growls. Social media cooked people so much, boomers like Shannon are willing to risk everything just to prove they're not gay. And that's what it came down to. A man desperately trying to control a narrative that kept spiraling out of his hands. Whether these leaks were true, fake, or something in between, the court of public opinion had already made up its mind. But there's still one final question, and it might be the only one that matters. In the end, it doesn't really matter whether the audio was real, or if Michelle exaggerated, or if Hollywood was just a stylist doing his job. What matters is this. Once your name becomes the story, facts start to blur, and perception becomes truth. Shannon Sharpe isn't just fighting rumors, he's fighting the entire internet. The memes, the jokes, the speculation, the leaks, they've become louder than his voice. And every time he tries to clear the air, it only seems to stir up more smoke. Is he misunderstood? Is he hiding something? Or is he just another celebrity caught in the crossfire of fame, sex, and social media? Only one person knows for sure. And Shannon? He's not talking anymore. But what do you think? Is this all one big misunderstanding, or are we finally seeing the side of Shannon Sharpe he never wanted the world to know?